You've probably heard a ton about these incredibly powerful foundation models, right? But here's the real challenge. How do you take a generalist AI and turn it into a real specialist? Today, we're going to break down the four main paths you can take to customize a model and, importantly, the critical trade-offs that come with each one. And this, right here, is the central question for anyone building with AI today. You have this amazing, powerful tool, but it doesn't know the first thing about the unique details of your business, your industry, or your specific job. So you're faced with what we could call the builder's dilemma. How do you actually give it that expert knowledge? And here's the thing, there's no single right answer. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. There are really four main ways to go about it, and choosing the right one is a huge strategic decision. You're constantly playing this balancing act between cost, control, and complexity. How much are you willing to spend? How much control do you need? And how much complexity can you and your team really handle? Okay, so let's start at the deep end of the pool. We're talking about the most resource-intensive, but also the most powerful options out there. The best way to think about these is like building a custom house from the absolute foundation up. Yeah, it requires a major investment, but you get to control every single detail. First up, we have pre-training. And I want to be really clear here. This is the most fundamental ground-level approach you can take. You are not just tweaking an existing model. No, you are literally creating a brand new one from scratch, feeding it a massive, often highly specialized data set so it can learn its own core knowledge. Just looking at this, you can feel the sheer scale of it, right? The cost isn't just high, it's astronomical. And that's all driven by the need for an absolutely massive amount of computing power. This is not for a side project. This is for huge organizations looking to build a deep strategic advantage. And why are they willing to pay that price? For the ultimate prize, total, absolute control over the model's behavior. So when would you ever do this? Well, this is a perfect example. A big bank just can't use an off-the-shelf model to understand its own unique, private transaction data. It just won't work. By pre-training their own model, they build that strategic advantage, a fraud detection system that is perfectly tuned to their specific patterns, giving them an edge that no one else can match. Okay, so if pre-training is building that house from scratch, our next option, fine-tuning, is more like a major renovation. You start with a really solid pre-existing structure, that's the foundation model, and then you customize it, teaching it a very specific new skill for your purpose. So the big deal here is all about efficiency. Because you're starting with a model that already knows a ton about the world, your costs and your training time drop way, way down compared to pre-training. You get to adapt a general-purpose model and make it an expert for your specific task without having to start from zero. A perfect example of this is in healthcare. Think about it. A general language model doesn't speak doctor. It doesn't understand all the jargon, the abbreviations, the unique context of medical records. By fine-tuning it on a dataset of anonymized patient records, a healthcare company can create an amazing tool that accurately understands and analyzes complex medical language. All right, let's totally shift gears now and look at the other end of the spectrum. These next two methods are way more accessible, much more flexible. They're less about heavy-duty construction and more about cleverly leveraging what's already built. This brings us to something called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or just RAG for short. And the idea here is brilliant. Instead of permanently changing the model, you just give it a library card. You connect it to an external source of information, often a special kind of database called a vector database, that can instantly find relevant context. The model can then look up live, up-to-the-minute information on the fly to answer questions. The huge win with RAG is all about being current and relevant. It's super cost-effective because you're not actually modifying the core model. Instead, you're just giving it access to external knowledge, whether that's your company's internal documents or a constantly changing product catalog. This means its answers are always based on the very latest information. This is a perfect use case. Think about a retail chatbot. A customer asks, "Hey, do you have this shirt in blue?" The bot doesn't have to guess based on old training data. With RAG, it can ping the live inventory database in real time and give a perfectly accurate answer. It's dynamic, and it's incredibly useful. And finally, we've got the most lightweight and agile method of them all, in-context learning. Now, this one involves no retraining whatsoever. It's all about what we call prompt engineering. Basically, you get good at guiding the model's behavior by giving it super specific instructions and even examples right inside the question you ask it.
The beauty here is its pure simplicity and low cost. You're not paying to retrain anything. You only pay for what's called inference, which is basically just the cost of the AI's thinking time to generate a response to your prompt. That's it. This makes it incredibly flexible and perfect for rapid experiments.
For example, you could start your prompt to a customer service bot with something like, "You are a friendly and helpful assistant. Here are 3 examples of great responses." By providing those examples right there in the prompt, you shape the AI's personality and tone for that one specific conversation instantly. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground, right? From building a model from scratch to just giving it better instructions. So now let's bring it all together into a clear, simple blueprint to help you make the right choice for whatever you're working on. This table really lays it all out. At the very top, you've got pre-training, maximum cost for maximum control. As we move down to fine-tuning, the cost drops, and you get that powerful task-specific adaptation. Then we hit RAG, where things get really cost-effective, and the key benefit is connecting to live external data. And finally, all the way at the bottom is in-context learning, the lowest cost, giving you that instant flexibility right inside the prompt.
And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. There is no single best method here. The right choice is always, always a reflection of your specific goals. Are you trying to build a completely unique AI to dominate an industry, or do you just need a chatbot that knows your latest product list? Your answer to that question determines which path you take.
So, there you have it. That's the builder's blueprint, from the massive investment of pre-training all the way to the nimble art of prompt engineering. Each path offers a different balance of power, cost, and control. Now that you have the map, the only question left is, what incredible expert are you going to build?